Hey guys, and welcome back to the Outer Rim. I'm Gabe Green, and today, with the help of one of my fellow Outer Rim admins, we'll be talking about the latest episode of The Bad Batch. And today, I am here with Drew. What's up, man?
The faceless man has returned.
Yep, still no webcam. All right. So today it is episode 5 called Rampage. This one was written by Tamara Beecher Wilkinson. She's done a lot of writing on Marvel and DC shows like Daredevil, Doom Patrol, Iron Fist, and the Runaways. Two of those are good. It is directed by Stuart Lee. Some of the guest stars, you have Rhea Perlman as Sid. I'm not very familiar with her, but apparently she was on Cheers, which I didn't watch. I'm 26, just for my time. And Matthew Wood comes back as a Bib Fortuna. He's having a big kind of a resurgence as that character in recent years. So in this one, you have the Bad Batch trying to find information on Fennec Shand. They go and meet up with Trandoshan. Not exactly a crime boss, but someone who's pulling a lot of strings and has fingers in a lot of pies. And she gives them a job to go rescue a child from some Zygerian slavers. They do it. It turns out to be Rancor. Hijinks ensue. They save the day, and they give the Rancor to Bib Fortuna in the end, which is a really weird beat I'm going to talk about later. But this was fun. I've said this about pretty much every episode so far. I like it. It's fun. They haven't had a great one yet, but they've had a lot of really consistently good ones. And this was no exception, at least for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think aside from the first episode, this might be my favorite one. I don't know why. I just really, really enjoyed this one. The action was really good. And I really liked I can't remember what race of aliens they're called.
Zygerians?
Yeah. I really like their design in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought they were really interesting and kind of different from what we generally see in Star Wars.
I love the concept of just this ancient slave empire that was kept down by the Republic, and now the Jedi are gone. They're trying to come back and reclaim what they had. They were fun villains. Just as you said, the design was a really strong element of their three or four episodes in the Clone Wars. So coming back as an episodic villain was fun. Again, at this point, I think Baby Yoda is going to have to go on the back burner, because I think Omega, with her very own communicator, is the most adorable thing in all of Star Wars at the moment. It's just, I don't make the rules. That's what happened. Just gotta deal with the Baby Yoda. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think the actress is, I believe it's Michelle Ang. I don't know what it is about her line delivery, but every line she has, particularly the way she voices them when she in the communicator, it is the cutest thing ever to me. And her little New Zealand accent is just so sweet. I just love this little character.
Yeah.
And it could have gone wrong in so many ways. And so, and I love that when they land on Ord Mantell, they now have a bunch of ground rules for Omega for when they're going into places. And it's they're all incredibly ignorant about the world. They make all these mistakes, but I love that they never make the same mistake twice. They're always learning. It's every new episode, you're seeing how they're implementing the lessons they learned from the previous episode into this one. And that's one thing I like about how serialized it is. Well, it's not entirely serialized. Each episode definitely has its own adventure of the week, but it's found a nice balance to where you can have that adventure of the week, but also there is a very clear feeling of continuation to where you're definitely rewarded for keeping up and paying attention.
Yeah, definitely. Like you were mentioning, how they kind of lay these ground rules for Omega each episode. Because last week, she went off and ran off on her own and everything, and then this week they're all right, we're not running off this time.
We're talking to strangers.
Yeah, no talking to strangers. Even though I mean, like she kind of went against that, just going up to Sid and just randomly like talking to him and everything. Uh,
Interesting though. Another possible hint of her maybe being force sensitive, or maybe she's just really perceptive, and the other clones are dense. I don't know, but she the clones are all confused, but she goes and realizes obviously you're Sid.
yeah,
Uh, and I liked Sid's line, like, clearly the kid's the brains of the operation, and Wrecker just puts out his hand for a high five.
that I love the subtle humor that they keep having, like just these like little moments that if you blinked you would miss, but if you just like pay attention, you can see like Wrecker and Omega like doing like these little like subtle like humorous things, and I think it's just great so far.
Or Tech complaining that Echo is withholding pertinent information after like he's been doing that all throughout the show.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, fun things like that. Um, Interestingly, I feel like they're kind of shaping Echo to be both the grumpy the grumpy one on the crew now that Crosshair is gone, but also kind of the moral compass. Um, like he seems to be very troubled by the notion of doing mercenary work. Also, like he's the one explaining to Omega like what slavery is and what it means to buy and sell another person like property. And I kind of wish that like they're having a conversation about treating people like property, but they never get to question the ethics of cloning.
Yeah.
Like I felt like a little bit of a missed opportunity. But I guess it brings up a question: were the clones paid?
I don't know. Honestly, like I feel like they probably weren't, or if they were, it wasn't much.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a conversation that it's been hinted at, but I think I would love to see it happen. You kind of explicitly at some point somewhere. And this is a show about clones, so why not?
Yeah, like that's honestly like a really great question because I've never really thought about it much before. I feel like they probably weren't paid because like cloning alone was super expensive for the Republic. So it's like, do they want to dish out more money? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Um, so then we go and we have this scene with the Zygerians, and I I have mixed feelings on how Muchi has handled it, like in the last 2 minutes. But the whole rampaging through the camp and just watching the slave traders just get thrown every which way was a lot of fun. It's just the way the whole sequence plays out. I like that. Like again, they avoid a cliche again, like a child character cliche, like when Hunter first tells Omega, like, no, you stay on the ship. Every other show would have had her, disobey, come in, get caught, and be the reason that the Bad Batch is caught. Like, no, she goes back to the ship. But then they come and search the ship, so she has to leave. Like, it allows her to be intelligent and not annoying, but also, come to the rescue. And it's just, it feels a lot more clever and involved than most other child character scripts you see.
Mhm. Yeah, that's honestly like why I'm really enjoying her character because they aren't making her like this really tropey, like annoying child character that you see in every other form of media, and it's like really refreshing to have like kind of like a mature take on like a child character and
Mm-hmm.
like make a character that actually like has depth to her, and yeah, like she's just they've done a great job with her so far.
Yeah. And so, what are your thoughts on Muchi the Rancor?
Um, I honestly don't know what to feel. Like, I mean, I liked the episode and like I thought the character like was fun, but at the same time, like it's really weird.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with making Rancors cute. It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Also, so is she the Rancor whose head gets crushed by Luke in Return of the Jedi? From what I hear, like the Rancor was male and has a name, but that's just like a Wikipedia article. Those things are very subject to change. Like those follow the movies don't follow the shows don't follow Wikipedia. But like so, as far as we know now, it's different. But also, how many Rancors does Bib Fortuna deal with with Jabba? It's odd. It's a really odd choice. Like if this is the Rancor Luke kills, why are you making it adorable?
Yeah.
And like a friend of children now. It's such a strange choice. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just have a dark sense of humor, you know?
Very, very dark. Yeah, Bib Fortuna comes back and like he's like really attached to Moochie, and then they go in for a hug. Like I don't understand any of this. It was really weird, but thankfully it's all isolated to, like the last 2 minutes of the episode. It would have been really annoying if the whole episode was like, oh, cute Rancor, because that's something they've done with some of these animated shows. They happened in Rebels, happened in Resistance. I can't. Did Clone Wars have a cute episode, a cute animal, cute monster arc or episode? I mean, you had the Zillow Beast, but that doesn't really count. But just like, oh, the monster, they're misunderstood, and like, I don't like that. So I'm glad it didn't really dominate the episode. Then we go to the end. I love Sid calls Hunter, hey, you, dark and broody, in here. She's great. Rhea Perlman, really fun voice. But she gives them the info on Fennec that she wasn't hired through the guild. It was a direct commission, which I liked. It's just a cool bit of world building that we got, from basically building off of Mando. And then we get I love the final line of the episode. You fellas must be pretty valuable. Don't worry, I'm good with secrets. And she just has that smirk, and Hunter looks very, very uncomfortable. It's like, just end your episode with the implicit threat of blackmail. That's awesome. I love it. I think she's got to be a fun character because I can see her easily, believably going either way, either being a friend or a friend or an enemy, or completely neutral. Like I think you said, really, they're adding, as I said in previous reviews, I think with Ryan, I love how they're just adding more and more factions and interests and groups that have their own reasons for doing what they're doing, where they can either team up or bounce off each other. It's just a lot. It could be a lot of fun dynamics.
And I feel like I have no clue if they've like really stated or not that this was just like a 1-season show. But if they're planning on doing more, like the way that they're setting up all these characters, I really feel like they have so much room. I mean, like not even just in this show, but like we could see some of these characters in a lot of other things. The way that they're setting everything up.
Yeah, Clone Wars these are expensive shows to do, so a lot of that has to do with probably the reception and the amount of viewership it gets. So one thing I noticed is that Crosshair hasn't been around in a while. I hope that like we'll just be on one of our happy missions and then just blaster bolts will start flying out of nowhere. Like he'll just come in from the side and like kick their butts randomly. Like it'd be fun if he just kind of just swoops in rather than like just a whole episode of him like they've had. I think like having him out there, like he's a sniper, so like out there waiting to strike out of eyesight, I think would be a really cool threat to have hanging over their heads.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but like, so Wrecker has like always been like hitting his head in like pretty much every episode.
I don't think boxing with a Rancor was a good idea for his neural state.
But yeah, like, so this episode, and like I noticed some of it last episode too, but this episode he's like really like he's like, oh, I got a headache, or like whatever he says. And like I noticed like he was kind of holding his hand kind of where like most of the clones get their inhibitor chip removed. So I'm wondering if they're like setting up something where like his inhibitor chip like might get activated or something like that.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Like that's a murderous Wrecker like on that tiny ship. That's like a legitimately scary thought.
Yeah.
Like he's a big lovable goof, but what if he turns evil?
Yeah,
Um,
especially after all this character development that they've like this relationship that they've been building with him and Omega. Dude, that would
oh,
be heartbreaking.
oh, I'm not ready. Speaking of Omega, I love that. Actually, speaking of Wrecker, I love this. There's a running gag of like every other episode, he's in the background doing a different type of exercise with the gong droid. Um, like this week, he was like doing squats with it. Um, and yeah, then the final thing I wanted to mention is that Omega seems to have found her own unique weapon with the Zygerian energy bow, which is a cool looking thing.
It is.
It's a really interesting design. So I love when characters got to get their own unique thing. That seems to be hers. Anything else you want to mention before you head out? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying now she needs to get her own set of armor.
Oh my gosh, this would be so cute. Yeah, like I can imagine towards the end of the season someone presenting her that as like a present, and I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that would be
Uh,
great.
all right, anything else that you want to mention?
I think that's mostly it. There wasn't like too much that happened in this episode, despite it being like super fun.
Yeah. All right. So I hope you enjoyed our review of Rampage, and if you did, please come and join us in the Outer Rim Star Wars group on Facebook. It's dedicated to positive and constructive Star Wars discussion. Obviously, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more reviews. And I keep forgetting to mention this at the opening, but all the audio for these reviews is going on to my podcast feed called Franchise Fatigue Podcasts. If you don't want to bother watching the video, which you've already watched at this point, I'm sorry. You can go over to the podcast feed and subscribe there, and it'll all go there. So next week we will be back with episode 6. See you then.